Hello everybody! Welcome to ClubFred. Today is May the 19th. It's the 28th day of my fantastic water fasting adventure. Am I looking lean and mean? I know I'm looking a bit shaggy. I need a haircut. With all this COVID stuff, that has been delayed. So yeah, 28 days of no food, just water and supplements, potassium, magnesium, some salt. And this fast is very different than my previous fast because every day I have a little bit of heavy whipped cream in my coffee, so it's not a perfectly clean fast. And some would say that will affect autophagy, and some will say that will affect detox. But the benefits of autophagy in relation to, let's say, loose skin, and even other claims that a lot of people have made, I think, as I've observed it, I think a lot of it is urban legend. And as far as detox goes, I'm very suspicious of most of that as well, because that's just become a big industry. People selling all kinds of detox products, whatever, and I'm very, very much into finding optimum health through natural means. This water fast I'm doing totally resets my microbiome and my autoimmune system. The health and medical community must be so frustrated sometimes with people coming to them with their hand out asking for an elixir and a cure when they hold the keys to their own health within their own hands. One time I went to my doctor. It was the first time that I saw her, and she looked me over, and then she said, well, you know, you're overweight and out of shape. And I was really angry with her because I said, I don't seek medical intervention much. I rarely go to the doctor. I mean, I wait unless I feel like I have a chronic problem. But years later, after my first 75-day water fasting adventure, I apologized to her. And I told her exactly what I just said. I hold the keys to my own health within my own hands, you know? People go to the doctor, they're sick, whatever, but they're diabetic and they don't follow a proper eating protocol. They're a smoker. They have bad habits. They abuse alcohol, whatever. And then they ask for pills. And the thing is, the doctor should say to you, I want to treat you, but I want to see that you've done absolutely everything within your power to find optimum health first. So this fasting that I'm doing can cure so much, even if it's just 7 days. But if you can go longer, and I wouldn't ask anybody to water fast if they don't have fat stores. But in North America, most of us do. And those fat stores are just perfectly prepared energy that our body has said, oh, wait, I have all this excess, and I want to be efficient, and I don't want to be wasteful, so I'm not going to dump it. I'm going to just prep all this perfectly and stuff it into a pantry in case you need it someday. And then you have these fat stores you can live on. You know, me, 28 days and I'm still fat. So, coming back around to what I was saying is we can do a lot through fasting, but we can do a lot to optimize our health through our maintenance eating protocols, right? Just eating healthy. And the best way to discover what works best for you to maintain your weight and to make you feel great and to get all of the essential nutrients and vitamins and everything you need without buying them in a bottle is to begin with some elimination style diets. So working with a very minimal amount of food and also a restricted eating window. So for me, that's a little bit more extreme. It seems when people observe me that I'm very extreme, right? Eating or not eating. And now my eating protocol is keto OMAD, and I've been planning that meticulously, especially while I'm fasting. Sometimes I'm obsessing about food thoughts. Even in my dream the other day, I had a dream that someone had cooked a turkey, and I was just eating it, and then I ate a big potato, and then I realized that I had broke my fast with carbs, which for me, I don't want to eat, and I haven't eaten carbs mostly for 2 years, so I was upset in my dream. So for me, my optimum eating protocol is keto, which is a very strict low carb diet, under 20 grams of carbs a day. 20 grams of carbs isn't very much, and you'd be surprised where it comes from. It comes from onions, carrots, tomatoes, but it's even in broccoli, even though broccoli is very low in carbs, and it can add up really fast. And the thing is, you want to keep your body in a state of ketosis. You're burning ketones. And your body is fat adapted, and it's burning fat for energy. It has depleted all the glycogen. It is not burning any sugar. It's living solely on fat. And so you add a lot of fat to your diet. So I eat a keto diet, but within that keto diet, I spread out this amazing meal, because the other part of my protocol is OMAD, O-M-A-D, 1 meal a day. And for me, the best thing that has worked through my experience, which I want to return to, is a 1 hour eating window, and this keto plating and setting that I set up is a feast. Like, most people look at that and they're like, oh my gosh, it's too much food, and they wouldn't be able to eat that because they're grazing all day, they're eating all day, they're eating from the time they wake up in the morning to the time they go to bed, but they're just eating a little bit and always kind of staying full. For me, it's like, okay, so I have a protein plate. It's 2 or 3 kinds of meat, bacon, maybe some fried meatball, some sausage, some chicken maybe, and all of that might be in my salad bowl. Like, I make a big salad, romaine lettuce, I put some broccoli, cauliflower in there for crunch, I add some feta cheese, I put some cottage cheese on the side, I make my own Caesar dressing, I put that in it, I put some pumpkin seeds on top, I put a few, maybe 4 small cherry tomatoes cut in half, and it looks pretty. I put some Parmesan cheese on top. I may put my bacon and chicken on that. And then I might have a few side bowls of kimchi and sauerkraut. And then I'll put some lemon in my water. And I'll have heavy whipped cream in my coffee. And it's a job to eat all of that in 1 hour. Oh, And on my protein plate, I've cooked up an omelet, maybe a couple eggs with some heavy whipped cream in it and some cream cheese or blue cheese. And on that plate, I might even put some smoked salmon. The thing is, I have within the rules of keto, which is no carbs, and carbs is avoiding the big five, grains, so bread and pasta and rice and potatoes and anything with sugar, which includes fruit sugars. So, but outside of that, I have such a varied amount of food and flavor, and it's so satisfying, and the quantity is so much that I am stuffed. And I get stuffed once a day, so I don't feel like I've never eaten enough. I have that feeling, which for me, I like that. I want that feeling of feeling totally satiated. And on the tail end, on the other side of a water fast, as I'm doing now, an extended water fast, and 28 days, it's a pretty exclusive club to go that long. But any water fast, on the other side of it, your body is so used to not eating that if you ate 1 hour restricted feeding window, it's quite comfortable. Your body gets used to that. Your body knows in a 24-hour cycle when it's hungry again. It starts signaling that. Also for me, I like doing it in the morning. I spread it all out, I get it all ready, then I sit down and eat. But I can do that, and a lot of people like to do that at dinner time because they're eating with their family, because eating is social, and so they don't avoid that family time, which is very important. So there's no rhyme or reason or rule to when you eat. Anyway, so that's my feeding protocol. The point is, find what works for you. And here's a key thing, though, that I want you to consider. When you're fasting, you're living on animal fat. It's the optimal food source in nature. Animal fat. We're animals. We've conserved that fat. We can live on it. Think about that. Just think about that. So my keto protocol is high fat. All my meats are fried in bacon grease. I cook all my meats in batches. I cook a couple kilos of bacon, and then inside that fat I cook my pork chops, my chicken breast, bone in, skin on, all of my meatballs, whatever, and it's all done in one day, and then it's portioned and frozen, and I just take out what I need. But it's animal fats. Steer clear of vegetable oils. It's called vegetable oil, but it's chemically extracted oil from seeds. Most of it is rapeseed, and if you follow the trajectory of how they came to that, they learned to purify cottonseed. Originally, they would take the oils from cottonseed for machine lubrication, and it smelled bad and it looked bad, and over time they kept purifying it and purifying it, and they eventually marketed it as vegetable oil because vegetables, right? Healthy. Look into it. Stay away from it. It is very bad for you. Use butter, ghee, or tallow, which is beef fat, or lard, pork fat. Just use what is natural, non-processed. Don't eat processed foods. So, yeah, today I lost 0.2 of a pound. My losses aren't consistent. Yesterday, though, was 1.2 of a pound. It was a good loss. So it's like it's definitely slowed down a lot, but 30 pounds in 28 days. I'm very happy with that. My losses have been, I think it's 13% now, have been really astounding, considering that all the way through on this fast, I've still consumed heavy whipped cream. I'm not telling anybody to do that. I think that in the beginning 2 or 3 days, it makes it a lot easier to just take in a little bit of that fat. It would probably be better to drop it for other reasons, especially the autophagy. And perhaps, I was talking to a friend about this yesterday, perhaps it keeps the hunger a little bit more alive than if I just shut it down entirely. Because I've noticed on this fast, I seem to have a little bit more hunger than I did in the past. But, you know, I'm the kind of person, people say, am I allowed this? Am I allowed that? And I say, this is your fast. Try it and tell us about it. And if you honestly think that it's going to help you stay the course and do a fast, and you do something a little bit different, it's still better than not doing it at all, right? Same goes for pain meds or medicine for acid reflux. I used to take some of that stuff. Right now, I have no prescription medication. Since January 1 of this year, I have swore off alcohol. I take no pain medication. If I was sick for something, like for a week earlier this year, I was sick with something weird, and I had to take a prescription to clear up my cough. I will do that. But other than that, I don't want to be on any medication, pain meds, prescription drugs, and I can't afford to play with my health through recreational drugs. Never did. But alcohol, used to dabble, you know, because my mental health is too important. So I'm going to wrap this up. I just want to say, you know, I run a Facebook group. You're welcome to come. I have 2 great admins there. The Facebook group is called Waterfasting, Refeeding, and Maintenance. It probably should be called Maintenance, Water Fasting and Refeeding, because we post pictures of food. We talk about eating all the time. I mean, realistically, you can only water fast for a very short amount of time, and the rest of the time is all about eating. And so I always say it's all about the maintenance, right? Get your maintenance right. And the thing is, you can start with your maintenance protocol right now, today. Start choosing the right foods. So for me, if it's a keto protocol, just drop all the carbs. Don't even worry about the volume of the food yet. Just start eliminating a bunch of things. Eat lots of the good things to get your body adapted and to get off of anything that you're addicted to, sugar and carbs. So the main ones are bread, right? But if you can drop bread, pasta, rice, potatoes, and you can drop any sugary drinks, stop buying drinks, just drink water. Would just be a fantastic improvement. If you're a beer drinker, just stop. Don't even worry about the volume. And then over time, you stop craving those things. Then you can start reducing your volume of intake. And you can also start reducing your feeding window. It would just be very, very reasonable to start with a 16-8. Eat within 8 hours, fast for 16 hours. Just a great way to start. Don't even worry about the scale yet or anything else. But if you can get yourself to a point where you feel satiated, you're not hungry all the time, and you are eating healthy, then you can start reducing your quantities, tweaking your maintenance protocol, because if you have weight to lose, then you can go on a fast, but you already know what your maintenance eating protocol is, and you can flip right back to that after. The refeeding can be a big deal, especially if you're fasting without supplements. You can have refeeding edema. But mainly what we just say with refeeding is just go slow, eat a little bit, wait and see what happens, eat a little bit more. But you can return, like let's say you fasted a short fast, 7 days or less, you can probably return your body to pretty much normal eating within a day. So we talk about those things. You're welcome to join. A lot of people, I had about 25 people join me on this fast. I was tracking them. So, because I'm admin, periodically people send me messages. And I'm not a coach. I'm not a doctor. I haven't set myself up like that. I probably could. I could probably charge to talk to people. I like helping people. These videos, I do it because I hope someone will benefit from it. But people, instead of posting to the page and asking the questions, there's a lot of people in that group that know way more than I do and have just as much experience or more with water fasting. They'll send me messages. And someone sent me a message, I'm starting a water fast, or I'm in a water fast, and what should I eat when I'm done? Which is, they could easily ask that to the page and lots of people would help them. But then they qualified their question by saying, I'm a vegetarian. And I said, they said, what should I eat? And I said, eat animal fats, animal proteins, cheese, eggs, butter. And they came back with, I can't eat that. I'm a vegetarian. I said, I'm sorry, I can't help you. And truly, I feel that's a bad lifestyle choice. It's a poor dietary choice. I'm not sure why people do it. I think maybe perhaps some people have religious reasons, but otherwise, if it's an idealism or, veganism, which is vegetarianism on the cross, we're incompatible. And we're incompatible because we've learned and we've observed that people that do those diets fail over the long term, and they have to supplement way too much, and they just become far too depleted. A lot of people, they thrive initially on a vegan diet because they've cut out all the crap. So you'll thrive on any diet if you just start cutting out all the crap. But over time, it's not sustainable. And so if you choose a diet because of ethics, like vegans, I can't eat animal products because I don't like the way animals are abused, or I believe animals are sentient beings, whatever. I have no more right to live than an animal, whatever. And then they cross off a bunch of things on their list of allowable foods, and then they look at what's left. And these things are crossed off because of ethics, not optimal health. And then they look at what's left and try to optimize their health. We believe that you should look at all of the resources available to you in food to optimize your health. Choose those carefully and then apply your ethics, right? Grass-fed or whatever, but I mean, you can source your food from places that treat their animals really well and kill them humanely, all of that. Anyway, so this has just been a total random streams of consciousness video. I just wanted to check in with you guys today. My gosh, it's 25 minutes. I wanted it to be, 6 or 8, under 10. I apologize. I am, guess where I am? I'm at the grocery store. Today I'm making kimchi, of all things. I'm playing with food. While I've been fasting, I've been making bread. In the past, I've told you I made pizza. I have started and stabilized a sourdough culture. I have made all kinds of veggie platters and different things. I've made some beautiful coleslaw. I've done lots of things, feeding the family and enjoying that and living vicariously through them as I watch them eat. I should wind up here, but on the tail end of that, I should tell you a little story. Yesterday, I made some Caesar salad dressing homemade. It's amazing. I licked my immersion blender and tasted it, and of course I spit, but I just wanted to see what it was like. And then I had this first loaf of bread that I made from my sourdough culture, and I had put some of the whey in it from straining the yogurt I made, and it just behaved really weird. The dough was nothing that I'm familiar with. It was more like a cake batter. It was really strange, but I wanted to bake it anyway, and I lined a crock pot and I poured it in, just the way you would pour a cake batter into a pan. And I cooked it in this crock pot insert, and it rose. It does have bubbles. It's still a little bit dense, and the top was flat and the bottom was burnt. I felt a little bit discouraged because I have this sourdough culture that I made. I used to make the most awesome sourdough bread. I loved it, loved everything about it, and it took me a year to perfect this loaf, and I was just so proud of it. And I kind of sort of did most of that, but anyway, I had no clue. And that's the thing with bread, sometimes you just don't know. Sometimes that's what's really troubling. If you don't know what's wrong, you're worried you're going to repeat the same mistake. So I'm not a total amateur with it. Anyway, so I thought that whole thing was going in the garbage, and I've been taking a bit of extra rest the last couple days. Yesterday was a holiday in Canada, Victoria Day, and the day before was Sunday, and those 2 days I just kind of isolated myself a little bit more, did some reading in my room, I was resting. I was surprised to come out and notice that half of that pathetic loaf of bread was eaten by the fam dam. And sourdough is a bit of an acquired taste. It's a different taste than a yeast dough, and I have taste testers tasting things that I make, like when I make a pot of chili or my fantastic chicken vegetable soup, anything. Does it need more salt? Does it need more flavor? But I don't know. I saw this crust sitting there on the cutting board, and I decided I wanted to taste it. So I chewed it to get the taste. And I was so surprised. It had a really nice flavor. So I chewed that, then I spit it out, spit, And then I decided to dip a piece of this dried bread end in some of that Caesar salad dressing, and I chewed it and spit it again. And, you know, I can tell you guys the optimum things to do and what you shouldn't do, but at the end of the day, this is real life, baby. You're not always going to do everything the way you're supposed to do it. I don't regret doing that. I was really glad to do it because I wanted that feedback from my work, because I really take great pride in my work, especially with food, but other things. I mean, I used to build houses. Just, you know, I'm a bit of an artist the way I do things, but I think that it's probably a really bad idea, because I think your body prepares your stomach even when you're chewing food, that there's enzymes that are being delivered throughout your body saying, oh, I'm going to prepare for digestion. I didn't swallow it. If I took in any calories or whatever, it would just be so negligible. Anyway, so that's just something to report, just because it's a little bit different. So, enough, right? Enough, Fred. If you're still with me, I love you so much. I mean, God, it takes a special person to sit there and listen to me rambling on like this. So, with that, love yourself, stay safe, and be awesome.